Hey guys, Chris here. The next topic I wanted to go over, which is a pretty important one that I think that everyone needs, well, more education and getting correct, basically, is passwords and the most common mistakes that are still made, even with it being 2020 at this point in time. So, the first thing to basically jump right into it is never make assumptions, whether it's in personal life or in professional, working, whatever it may be. Never trust the person next to you, and always it starts with you and goes out from there. The weakest link is the company, is the user. And it goes from there and basically snowballs and causes issues. So you need to take the proper steps, even at your level, whether it's in professional or personal life. Your passwords, a lot of the most common mistakes is they're not unique. So, above all, as basically being a human, just like you and everybody else, is humans are lazy. We don't want to use very complicated passwords because we want something easy to remember, and we want to be able to get in, basically do what we need to with said password, and move on. So, we would rather have basically laziness and convenience over securing our personal information and everything that comes with having a password. The next thing, of course, is passwords. They should be, on average, I would say at least 8 to 14 characters long. Basically, the longer the password is, the less of a chance that the password can be guessed easily. One of the things that a hacking individual would do when they are trying to brute force a password is they're using what's called a dictionary. Inside of that dictionary has tens of thousands of words, combinations, letters, numbers, everything, and it's basically looking for any password that it can be easily guessed from that list. The longer you go, the harder it is to find and the more unique that it will possibly be. The next thing that I would recommend doing is basically using a password manager, which I will go into that further down in this video. There's lots of password managers out there, but we will come back to that. The next thing, actually the most common thing, and especially with the older generation, or even in the working environment, is people write down their passwords. Put it on a post-it note, they'll leave it right next to their desk, they'll use a notebook, and they will literally have their passwords to the most secure information possible, banking, whatever it may be, in a password on a piece of paper sitting right in a shelf or right next to their desk, easy to find. If someone breaks into your house or something of that nature, that's the first thing they're going to start looking for is personal information and what they can take easily and quickly. Next thing is passwords are, well, coming back to the lazy factor, too easy. They're too common. A lot of passwords, the next common mistake is based off of using a password with personal information. So, birth dates, addresses, names of family members, pets, birth dates, phone numbers, social security numbers, any kind of data that is related to you, you should never ever use in a password, nor should you ever use any part of that password in another password. They should all be unique. They should not be simple to guess, so like the street that I grew up on, Arabian, that shouldn't be my password as an example. They shouldn't be just letters, they shouldn't be just numbers, there shouldn't be, the most common passwords are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're always the same, things of that nature. So, going back to what I said previously, what you can do to go ahead and secure your passwords and to make them much more secure is, first of all, two-factor authentication. Basically what that is it's a middleman basically in between. So like an example, you go to your bank, you put in your bank password to go ahead and you want to check and see how much money's in your account. Well, when you have two-factor authentication set up, depending on what method you chose, it's going to ask you to log into your bank using your personal information, so you put in your password, and then it's going to either ask you for a security question or text you a password which is a temporary code that's only used for a certain amount of minutes. So that will be either by email or text, and then when you put that information in, that will go ahead and basically be a second step to get into your account. Like for example, it could be a text, it could be an email sent to you, it could be a lot of different ways depending on how you set things up. There's even applications that you can use. As an example, for like I have Discord servers that I belong to, so in order to get into that, I have a authenticator that has 5 or 6 different codes that can be used, but they only can be used for a certain amount of minutes. So that's definitely one thing I recommend, is anything that you possibly have, depending on how simple or easy it is, should be set up with two-factor authentication in today's world. So moving on to the next part, so password managers. Everything basically I have at this point is in a password vault. Personally myself, I chose Bitwarden. Your mileage will vary. Go ahead and you can choose whatever works for you. There's Bitwarden, KeePass, LastPass, the list goes on, and whatever works for you. One of the reasons why I chose Bitwarden is I could self-host it on my services here at home. That way it's secure. It is not in the cloud. I use that option. And with that being said, one of the also benefits with Bitwarden is the fact that you can sync your vault to multiple locations. So as an example, I have Bitwarden on my phone, I have it on my tablet, I have it on my laptop, I have it on multiple devices. If I go ahead and add a password, change a password, make any sort of edits, anything of that nature, I can sync it and it will sync to all of my devices. That way I don't have to go through and edit every single device that I have my password vault on. Pretty simple, pretty awesome to use. Obviously I'm not going to go ahead and open mine for privacy and security reasons, but one of the nice things that you can do with Bitwarden is once you've created it, your vault, you set up your passwords to Twitter, Facebook, banking, whatever the case may be. You can go through there, and when you're creating your passwords, you can go ahead and set up passwords that it will generate for you based off of whatever conditions. So you can say, I want a 14-digit password, I want it to have letters, numbers, special characters, and it will generate that for you. One of the things, of course, that will take some time is you have to go through each of your accounts to do this, to get everything updated correctly, which I've recently done with some family members to get everything more secure for them. That does take some time, but once that's done, it's kind of set and forget. So me, myself, I've got probably 40 different passwords to various different services, websites, personal information, Amazon shopping, whatever it may be. I have all of that set up. So as an example, all of my accounts, my emails, everything are set up with two-factor authentication and passwords generated through the password vault that I've created through Bitwarden service. And I have that taken care of and done at this point in time. So God forbid, let's say my phone gets lost. Yeah, my password vault is on there. But by the time that has happened, I would have automatically realized that I've lost my phone. I would have shut off my phone by calling my provider. And then at that point in time, I would go through, I would log into my vault from another device, and I would start updating all my accounts. So by the time they have that information, those passwords are useless. Granted, it takes time to go through all your services that you've got in your password vault and update everything, but it's definitely more secure that way. You have one password that you have to remember that's a very secure, strong password. After that, everything is generated and done, and all the work is done for you through your password vault. Definitely something to keep in mind, and I definitely recommend that everyone goes through and looks at. And this should hopefully be kind of good information, and for you to kind of sit back and think, okay, maybe I need to change a few of the ways that I do things. Hopefully that helps you guys out and gives you a little bit more information as to what you should be doing and looking at. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Thanks, and have a good day, guys. Stay safe.